Where am I? Where am I? Oh, there I am. Hello, everyone. Hello. Hello, hello. Make sure everyone can hear me and it's not too loud. I think I need to pull this back a little bit so I don't get all distorted and the like. So please let me know if the volume is okay on the sound, because I'm trying to use this thing because it's just easier on me. I'm just doing it for me. I can have my hands free. So welcome everyone. So glad to be here with you. It wasn't last Sunday. I have a little back thing, which is actually still bugging me, but wasn't, and now it is, and yeah, back and forth. So, but nobody came here to listen to me complain, I'm pretty sure. So, absolutely nothing came to me today to start with as an opening discourse that you're all used to. So, does anybody have a question or a subject they would like to me to just expound on in some way, any way at all, that I might be able to meet your needs? And if not, I'm sure something will come up. Yeah. So Miss Nay says it's nice and clear to you. Thank you, Nay. Oh, wait a minute. What I can say is that, yes, I'm starting an hour earlier. There's usually more people here by now, but I think probably get confusing. I did send out an email, but between the time changes, the 3-week difference between here in North America and in Europe, and me wanting to start an hour earlier, the things can get very confusing this time of year. And I think that's what it is. I think it's some kind of a psychological torture where they just want to, whoever they are, want to just confuse the masses twice a year. Although everybody's confused, so I don't know who's actually behind it. So, Nay has something. Gee, could you touch on self-esteem and how it affects and benefits the ego, the egoic self, and the true self? Very good. Barb's got it. Good. We're all queued up here, ready for me to go. So, in that case, let me just look through and say hello to everyone. Rosario and Nay. Eva. There's Mary, who I see later is lying down. So, by all means, lie down. Lie down. And there's Marty. Hello, Marty. Salvador. Good to see you, Salvador. Barb writes stories, who's driving in and out, or she's in a vehicle that is moving. She's not driving, though. So that's good. So she can type a question. I'm glad she's not driving while she's doing that. So self-esteem, the egoic sense of self, and the true self. Well, the true self, the absolute truth of it. Is not in need of self-esteem. It has no limits. It has no boundaries. It has no clear, concrete definition. It is not something that can be known or described in our normal conceptual terms. How do you describe the infinite? I mean infinite. Which means, even if I take a little tiny piece of the infinite, it's still that is still infinite. I mean, infinite is there are no boundaries borders, limits, anywhere. And that just doesn't mean like infinite in space, right? This unlimited space that goes on and on, or time. You know. It refers to the potential and qualities of being. Everything that can possibly come into existence is because of the existence of the essence of all things, the infinite, the boundless, which is called the self, the truth of being, the sat chit ananda, beingness itself, pure awareness. All the names we give it in an attempt to approach it, get pointed towards it. Right? So when you're talking about the self, your true authentic self, we're not talking about the ego, and I'll explain what the ego is in a second. We're talking about something even more vast than you can imagine. In emotional healing, actually the level 2 is called the reconnecting body and soul, with body and soul. And it opens us up to the possibility of discovering more and more of our unique individuality, our unique characteristics. As you discover that, and you become free of the conditioning that is at the heart of all of our sense of limit and lack and suffering, you also begin to become free of the sense of identity, the sense of self that was very much identified with the conditioning. You thought you were nothing but the conditioning. As that begins to separate and detach, and it happens very naturally and very quickly, actually, you begin to see more authentic characteristics begin to emerge from you. And also much more innocent characteristics, more powerful characteristics. You find you're not as reactive, you're more compassionate, and you're also more powerful. You're more able to make a boundary. You really know what you care about and what you don't. You say yes when you mean yes and no when you mean no. This is the goal of emotional healing, to get to that point where there is a genuine relationship, once again, with your authentic being, your authentic experience as a human being. But there's a dimension beyond that goes beyond just the freedom, the liberation of the sense of the authentic self, the authenticity of the expression of the humanness in this life. You're more than that. Your human life is an expression of, a manifestation of you, which is actually unlimited. The unlimited you manifests itself through this defined you, which is also not limited. This form that you're in now, I see all the names and like, it is not limited. It's not confined by anything other than conditioning. So even the vehicle through which you express is also not limited. It's an infinity in and of itself. And that is the actual self. And as you can see, self-esteem, that sense of self-appreciation, can go to multiple levels. With emotional healing, you begin to find the authentic you. That your natural mode and way of expressing yourself through this particular form. That has self-esteem built into it, because since it's you, there's just a natural confidence in it. It just feels right. It's like, that dress that just fits really good, and this is it. Everything just feels right, because it's really you, so it feels right. So self-esteem is not an issue either for the ultimate that you are, and also for the human expression when you are freed, at least relatively freed, from identification with conditioning. Now, conditioning. Let's go there, and we'll get to the ego sense here. The human system, the human body, mind, emotions, sensations, the whole lot of it, is a system, a living, organic system. It's very sophisticated, very complex. It is completely intertwined with the environment. In fact, to the body mechanism, there's no me and other. There's no sense of there being a separation between the environment and the body. That sense of separation is all in the mind. It's all in our perception. So, for the body is simply a process, a functioning, and its main job is survive, which means, and its power to do that is its incredible capacity to adapt and respond to the environment in such a way that it maintains its form. It manages to eat and not get eaten and make little versions of itself through a fun process. Now, notice that it's a function. It's not sentient. It's not self-aware. It doesn't know that. It doesn't know that. There's no self-knowing there. It's just a process. Now, take, for example, like a robot. Imagine a robot that has become so sophisticated, and it's getting there, that it mimics human behavior to a T. You can't tell the difference. You simply can't tell the difference. So, what's going to happen? We're going to look at that. We're going to see all the characteristics we recognize as human. And we're going to project sentience onto it. We're going to say, it's self-aware. I mean, the AI programmers are already doing that. Right? We want to try to make life as if life hasn't done a great job already. But I heard one guy, Bernardo Castro, refer to that trying to get the sentient AI as womb envy. Men trying to grab control, because all the tech bros are mostly men, trying to get control of that last place. They just can't get it, and they want to. But anyway, we will project sentience onto this function, and in fact, there's nothing there. There's nothing there actually having an experience. It will appear, it'll react as if it is, but it's actually not. There's nothing there. AI can write beautiful poetry, but it doesn't enjoy it. It's putting stuff, pattern matching, it's got it down so it appears to be human, but it isn't enjoying it. It can tell a joke, but it can't laugh. It can't actually laugh. It'll imitate laughing. It can say everything about falling in love, but it doesn't feel love. There's nothing there feeling. Now, the body is like that. The sentience of the body is the consciousness that is experiencing it, which is you. You are real. You are the aware self. You are what's experiencing the body, the mind, all of those characteristics. Now, what we've done, and I'm finally getting all the way around to the essence of that, to the other part of your question there, Nay. When we project onto the body-mind mechanism sentience, independent functioning, consciousness, like we would with the robot, we have created the ego. That's what it is. The imagining of a sentient entity or a person projected onto a functioning form that is not self-aware. There's no person there. The person is the one who is looking at it and projecting on it. When we do that, when we do it onto this body, we then identify ourselves with the body. We say, I am the body. And at that moment, whatever we know about the body, we become. It's mortal. It's beginning and an end. I'm going to die. It gets sick. I'm going to get sick. It says, pain, suffering, all of that. Well, it doesn't actually have it. Won't get that far into it. In other words, all the characteristics of the functioning we mistake for ourselves, the consciousness in which it's appearing. That mistake is what is called the ego. That's the sense of self that doesn't exist. It's the dream self. And because I believe I am that, I will act it out, I will experience it, I will see everything through those eyes. I will be that experientially, even though that's not actually what you are. It's not a mistake. This is the way it's supposed to go. That's how we have experiences. But when you get to a certain point in the growth, in your spiritual growth, you could call your soul's journey through multiple lifetimes, we start the process of waking up from that, which is why you're here. Something in you is feeling the yearning to go home, is sensing something bigger, but doesn't know where to get it. And at first we go down through all sorts of channels and different kinds of things, and self-help and all of those kinds of various kinds of religious and spiritual practices and the like, hoping against hope that we're going to find this thing, not realizing that we're looking for it in the wrong place. We're looking for it out there where it isn't, because the sense of something lacking which emerges is the self drawing the attention of the sense of I back towards itself. Yes, something is missing. Something is lacking, but it's not out there. In fact, you are already that, and the notion that it's lacking is the belief, I'm that body, creating a sense of self. And that sense of self, because it is only an idea, it is of course going to have the feeling of being lacking, of not, all the other stuff comes from there. Not lovable, not valuable, not good enough, low self-esteem. It all comes from there. And it is low self-esteem, not enough, not valuable enough, all applies to the sense of identity in our modern age called the ego. The ego, I hope you're seeing, does not exist. It is not an entity. There's nothing there. It is a belief projected upon what actually does exist, which is everything you experience is in fact the emanation of the self. The self is all there is. There isn't anything else. And the fact is you are that. But I won't go there right now because there's other stuff here. So Christina keeps wanting to turn her camera on. It's not Zoom, love. It's my live stream. Oat milk. Somehow I've switched over to oat milk, and I'm really enjoying it. Got kind of a different mouthfeel. I tried making my own once, but it didn't work very well. It's harder to make than almond milk. Almond milk was easy to make. Okay, how is that, Ms. Nay? Or just Nay, that's your name, Nay. How is that? Is that getting to the point for you? Let me know. Oh, wonderful, thank you, G. The robot description really helped, yes. I'll go more into the robot in level 2 when you get there. So, let's see, Barb. Gee, I have the question, is this movie of my life me, or is the one that feels like she's trapped and not part of the movie me? Where the fuck am I in all this? I feel connected to nothing. Well, let's see. Well, the movie of your life is not you. It's experienced that way. I mean, we go to a movie because we want to have the experience, right? We don't go to a movie to be bored, right? They're too expensive. They take too much time. Unless it's a date, then it's worth it. Then you're not bored. But at any rate, a movie is an experience, and unless you are identified with something in the movie, it has no emotional impact on you. If you don't care about any of the characters on the screen, or don't clearly see the hero and the villain and identify with the hero mostly, it's boring. You leave. You want your money back. The movie sucks. And if it's a really long movie, then it sucks even worse. So this capacity of ourselves to identify with things and to really feel the experience is a very key part of the living. So it's not like it's this horrible thing. But there does come a time in everybody's spiritual growth when it's time to get the bigger picture about the movie. The same thing applies to our night dreams. They're very real while they're happening. We're totally identified, and then poof, they're gone. There comes a time for us to begin to look at our everyday life from that perspective and say, well, how do I know that this is the reality of my experience? How do I know that what I'm experiencing right now is a dream I'm having, and I don't know, I'm even some completely different critter on another planet? How do I know? Well, that's kind of part of the deal, the whole process, the path you begin to walk on. And from the perspective of emotional healing, Barb is in level 2, your step 1 is disidentifying yourself with conditioning. We've all been conditioned. We all believe that we are our conditioning. That the various reactions and patterns of the functioning, which is just functioning in relationship to the environment, perfectly adapted to the environment. And because we've mistaken that for ourselves, we take all of that on. But in the emotional healing, you're beginning to see that these are just processes that are happening. It's the safety mechanism continuing to assert itself, and you begin to feel a sense of disattachment from it, not disinterest, not indifference, but just a gap there in which some freedom begins to emerge. And when you're first introduced to these ideas, these things about non-duality, which you have just been, suddenly it's a different perspective about any of it. Because if I'm not my conditioning, if I'm not this man or woman that I think I am, that I've been living as, even though I've been experiencing, but if I'm not that, then what the fuck am I? to quote. Or where the fuck am I in all of this? And at first, that can be quite disorienting. And we want to try to find some place to fit it. Am I in the movie? Am I like trapped in the movie? Am I somebody trapped in the movie? We try to like think it through. We want to come up with another concept because that's simply the way we've been taught. So you're going to feel as the sense, as freedom begins to dawn, which is what you're feeling, it's going to feel unstable. It's going to feel like it's not connected because you're not connected to all the reactive patterns that have been modeled and they're just reacting. As you become see yourself as not that, and they're reacting, and in the process, you're beginning to actually allow, you're disarming some of these reactions and creating much more healthy ones. There is a definite feeling of being disconnected, disoriented, like, where the hell am I? I don't get it. Perfectly normal. This is what's supposed to happen, because the ultimate is to reconnect with your true authentic self, which, because of identification with conditioning, you have no idea what it is. You can't conceive of it, because the conditioned mind, that which is identified with the conditioning, cannot fathom what the true authentic self is. It doesn't have the capacity to do it. It's like the caterpillar cannot fathom life as a butterfly, yet that is its destiny. It's very happy on its little green leaves, right? And its perfect world would be a lot of green leaves everywhere, no predators, and all the leaves are so close together, it never even has to risk itself stretching, right, to get from one leaf to another. Just as far as it's concerned, that would be its vision board, right? It would make it would be trying to attract into its life, from the genie of the universe, a sea of perfectly green leaves, not having a clue that desire, that vision is so far below what he is destined to become. Right? That which is just soaring above those same leaves, it's flying, not crawling, but flying. For thousands of miles they'll travel as well. They'll see just vast spaces we can't imagine, which is why it's so disorienting when we are beginning to be brought back to that which we can't imagine. And it can be nerve-wracking, it can be scary, it can be like, what's happening to me? What's happening to you will happen to everyone, and is happening to everyone here. You are being brought out of who you thought you were and into who you actually are. It's very gentle, very gradual practice. It involves emotional healing. It involves a group of people that are really loving and supportive, because you don't know. And if you look at your writing, the stories you write, right? When you sit down to write a story, or even before you sit down to write it, there's an impulse there, right? There's like something wants to come out. Now you have no idea what it is. You have no idea what it's going to be. And if you tried to figure it out, you couldn't, right? Because you're not there yet. But it's alluring. Once you're free from enough conditioning that you can feel these natural impulses towards the creative impulse, you begin to begin to respond to it, and you start doing it, and then the thoughts will come up and say, yeah, but nobody's going to want to read this. Who's going to publish it? And then you find, well, who cares? I'll write it for my kids, or I'll write it for just because it wants to come out. I'll worry about what happens to it later. It wants to come out. And so you start paying attention to it, which you might not have before, because now there's space to do it. But you don't know where it's going. I hear, writers, especially of fiction, talk all the time. Is, the characters kind of write themselves. The characters tell them who they are, in a sense. They're writing it, but they're not writing it. And I had the same experience writing music. Sometimes I just have the impulse. Something wants to be written, and I'd sit down to the piano, and lo and behold, something would come out. It was just kind of, my fingers would go to the right place, or I'd hear a note, or it was just, and I had no idea where it was going to go. No idea. It wasn't like I'm sit down, now I'm going to write a fugue, or I'm going to write a song in this form. Verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus. I never started from that form, just that impulse. This is the freedom. This is the communicating of who you really are. In fact, if we stop looking for some concrete idea of who we are, who I am, you find that this stuff just kind of comes out. It's coming out of you, and it's expressive of you. It refers to you. But you're even bigger than that. You're like this invisible, unknowable, unpredictable source that it's just coming out of. And the sense of an I, a person, a thing that is doing it, you begin to see that's imaginary. It's a projection. There's all I know of my direct experience is I am, and this stuff happens. And I experience it happening. I experience ideas coming up and things going on in events happening. And I don't need to have a sense of self or a person there in order to experience it. It's just happening, and it's experiencing all the time. So what's really happening when you say I feel connected to nothing is the discomfort of disconnecting from what isn't you, and little by little reconnecting to what is. In the process, because what is you is so unfamiliar, it's going to feel a bit unstable. But don't worry. You're in good company. Every enlightened being throughout all eternity has experienced the exact same thing, and gone through the whole process. And you have a lovely group of people around you to support and commiserate with, right? Because they're all going through it. So we can all get together and have a pity party and then get on with work. So is that good for you, Barb? Did I nail it? I hope so. Feels weird an hour earlier, doesn't it? Especially with the time change and all. Anyway, okay. So yes, Christina, you can stop trying to turn on your camera. It won't do any good. Let's see. Ziva Torco. Well, isn't that Fatima? See, that's the hat with Fatima. We've changed Ziva Tvorka. Okay, I have a question. Very often, when I go to the bathroom at night in a drowsy state, I suddenly realize that I'm not in this body, or rather, no one is in the body. What is happening is simply happening. I forgot what I wanted to ask. But the feeling is very calming. Oh, and now I'm writing from my other account. So yeah, okay, it's Fatima. I recognize the hat. Yes, hard to miss. Well, that's exactly the case. Exactly what I was talking about earlier. Right? The ego is just a thought. There is nobody in the body. This is what Buddha kept talking about. This is why he was teaching no self. Right? There's no self in the body. The self is the witness of, the consciousness of the body that is not in the body, but the body is in it. But the experience is as if we were in the body, and therefore having an experience of a world. But the truth is, it's just the lens through which seeing is happening. There is nobody in the body. There is no person. The notion that there is, I am the body, is the essence of the egoic mind. It is the essence of a sense of a separate self, and it is the essence of all suffering. Because that belief that I am the body, or somebody in the body, is the belief of a someone completely imaginary, projected onto the experience. And that imaginary self is going to be limited, struggling, difficult. It's going to suffer. And suffering is the key then. When we become really aware of it, acutely aware of it, we seek the way out of it. And after a lot of mistakes and detours and cul-de-sacs and blunders, we begin to finally turn in the direction where the answer actually lies. In that which is projecting the sense of self onto the body and the experience. Our attention goes to the projector rather than to the screen with the movie on it, and then even goes beyond that to what is actually here. So yes, it's going to feel very calming, but what's being felt is there's not yet another person, another ego that is feeling calm. Don't turn it into a person now who is feeling calm. That calmness, that peace or stillness, is the perfume emanating from the self. That is the expression of its natural state. It's what you actually feel like. It is the feeling of just being without a person, without a sense of there being somebody feeling, which is just a concept. There is existence feeling itself. It's not like there is somebody there who is feeling the calm. That is not a person. There is simply being itself. That is the self. And its nature is peace, it's love, it's compassion, it's beauty, it's truth, it's stillness, it's everything that emanates from it. Music, art, humor, fun, are all just the emanation of the self, which is in its beyond all experience. And yet, at the same time, it is the only experiencer. What is it, Fatima, that recognizes the calmness as calmness? What is it that sees there's no one in the body? What recognizes that? And wasn't that there before the recognition took place? And if for some reason that recognition gets overwhelmed by the habitual thinking of I am the body, will it not still be there? Isn't even the recognition itself being perceived by something even more subtle than that? That recognizes, oh yes, that is calm, and that isn't calm. Something that is so far beyond that it recognizes with complete peace all the full range of opposites, and is not preferential or in conflict with any of it. How is that? Everybody, because that's for everybody. That one is for everybody. What is it that recognizes that there's a question coming up? Oh, I have a question. Oh, there's a question here to ask. What recognizes it? What even sees the thought, I have a question? Plunge deeply into this place where everything is being perceived. And eventually you'll just kind of sink into just being. That isn't a form, isn't anything in particular, doesn't have a shape, doesn't have a location. All of those are perceived. The calming, and the confusion, the feeling of not connected to anything, or the feeling of being connected. This thing bugs me, this little wire back there. Although I do like this. See, look at that. I can't do anything right here. Technology. Okay. What recognizes all of that? Including what I just did. Right? Let yourself gently just kind of fall into the place of just seeing. I'm just aware. It's all happening and I'm aware of it. And yeah, this seems interesting, this seems better than that, this is wonderful, this is calm. There's no person here. Well then, what am I that's seeing that recognizes that? Am I a person? I mean, it's me, I see it. Now don't hang on to that sense of the calm. There's no one here. Oh, it's calming. Don't hang on to any of it, even the recognition, right? Because it's possible the mind could come up, a little tsunami going on, and then it'll be, I've lost it. What recognizes it? What sees that it's been lost? Is that ever lost? This is just part of the invitation, bringing it further and further and further back towards the you that's been here the whole time, that's been watching this whole show, isn't actually attached to anything. Even the attachment and the aversion are appearing on the screen. Even the experience of enlightenment itself is part of the movie being experienced. Just the sense of being. We'll leave it at that. Let me see how you're doing with that, Fatima. Hello, Ida. Good to see you too. From north of nowhere. She's north of nowhere. Wow, that's way up there. Is that is the Queen profile picture I see? Wonderful, thank you. I am you. Hey, dear G. I'm going through a deep transformation, leaving behind my old life and stepping into something new. I want to go through this process fully aware, from the perspective of consciousness and self. However, I sometimes feel stuck in fears and fears about the future arise. How can I fully embrace this transformation, release the past, move forward with trust and clarity? Beautiful question. Beautiful. Right. And let's just focus on the last little bit there. Right. Whenever we ask the question, how do I? It is the limited sense of mind trying to figure out how to become trusting and clear. Right? How to not be stuck. How to not feel fears about the future. In other words, all of that sense of wanting to not feel stuck, not be afraid of the future, and to experience a change of life, a transformation in life from a different perspective. What happens is that you take a side. I want to experience it without that, which means that any sign of that showing up will make you feel like I blew it, I missed it, I'm not doing it, I'm not conscious of it, I'm not self-aware, so I'm blowing the whole deal here, I'm messing everything up. And therein lies the difficulty, right there. Because right then and there, it's not clear anymore, is it? Which direction? This is not a direction that you can go with the mind. How about this instead? How about when the feeling of stuckness is there, you see it from the perspective of consciousness, which means stuckness is here. Oh, this is what stuckness feels like. And when the fear comes up about the future, you approach it as consciousness. Ah, fear is here. Fear about the future. Ah, this is what fear is. Does it have any meaning beyond that? No. If I say it shouldn't be here, if I was really conscious, this wouldn't be here, you've just created a conflict with it. You've invented a life about it and an influence that it has. You have given it meaning that it doesn't inherently have, and now you're not conscious. Because obviously, if fear has appeared, consciousness is there, isn't it? Now, if I stay as consciousness, and there's fear there, but I don't create an identity that says it shouldn't be here, right? and then get into a fight with it and say, this should be, I want to be like this. If you don't do that, then it's just consciousness is there. Right? Remember, consciousness, becoming aware, becoming conscious, it's not a tool for self-help. It's not a way to fix things in our life. It's the consciousness that sees things as they actually are, with no projections and no illusions. When a fear comes up, if it's just fear, there's a feeling of fear here. Okay, there's a feeling of fear here. That's it. All right. What now? But if it comes up and there's a belief there that it shouldn't, and I'm not conscious if it does, suddenly that fear is given a life that it doesn't actually have. You have created the illusion. You have created the mirage in the desert. Right? There's just the desert, fear, or a feeling of being stuck. Now you can, through various methods, explore that feeling of being stuck. You can, use the energy healing that I use and teach others to do. And that's appropriate also. But the ultimate freedom from it is to realize that nothing that happens Nothing, no event in our life that ever happens has any inherent meaning. Meaning is always our subjective belief about it projected onto it. And we think it's there. Oh, that's a fear of the future, and I've got to get rid of it. Well, fear's there. Okay. Just let it be fear. Don't even call it fear of the future, because that's... what if it isn't? What if it's just fear appears for no reason whatsoever? It just appeared. You see, then you're conscious. You're not picking a fight with it. There's fear there. There's a desire to have this go as smooth as is possible, for me to go through this. And I can see through the whole thing that you said there, there's a deeper desire to be aware, to become conscious, to wake up. I can see that that's there. And you want this to be an experience of waking up. In which case, then, the trust and the clarity is I am always the consciousness, and me as consciousness are never not consciousness. And no matter what pops up, it does not ever change my status as being the conscious awareness. That's what I always am. If I wasn't, nothing would pop up anyway. So, stuff's going to pop up. Reactive patterns are going to pop up. Emotional reactions, psychological reactions, and physical reactions to stuff that happens in your life. If all of it can just come, dance, and go as it all will, without any creating a relationship, without any kind of you taking a position for or against it, you are perceiving it as consciousness. The moment you take a position towards it, you have created the egoic mind. You have created an identity that doesn't actually exist. So you're just conscious of all of this is happening. Yeah, you know what? Transformations, it's quite natural to feel a little bit, the nervous system, it's new, it's got new territory it has to move into, it's got to adapt to, it doesn't know what to find. There's going to be a sense of a heightened alertness. There's going to be even fear. And the thoughts are going to be there. Oh, did I make a mistake? Is it the right thing to do? And you kind of go, doing the best I can. And yes, there they are. And they're allowed to be there. Actually, they're perfectly natural to be there. So consciousness is not about them not being there or you living in some state of perpetual bliss. Right? It's about being conscious. With whatever is here. Right? And if that's what's here, that's what's here. And don't give it any meaning. Right? When fear appears, what it means is fear has appeared. Nothing more. Don't project anything else on it. And you will find that sense of wanting to just be fully aware through the whole process. Because there won't be any expectation that awareness depends on the process looking in any certain way. However it comes, that's it. And you go, yes, thank you. Thank you. It's wonderful. It's all wonderful. Does that help? I am you? And me too? Ah, good. Salvador. Hi, G. On a similar note to Barb's question, I feel that disconnection and I feel untethered. There's a lot of fear about slipping into nihilism. How to find trust in this process? Yes. First off, in order to slip into nihilism, you would have to lose touch with your own humanness. This whole non-dual thing, if it's not understood correctly, can become quite nihilistic. We see this with the kind of the neo-advaitic teachers out there teaching. There's nothing here, nothing exists, it's all an illusion. Basically trying to explain away human experience rather than completely embracing it as part of the picture. Because if a truth has to establish itself, if a belief has to establish itself as truth by explaining away anything that contradicts it, even if what it's trying to put out there is the non-dual truth, it's no different than any other religion. Listen to any Christian apologist trying to explain away the overwhelming archaeological evidence that almost nothing in the Bible actually happened. Just watch them trying to explain away everything that contradicts the position, and you get a picture of it. So if the neo-advaita, or the advaitaholics, or as Muji likes to call them, the bullshit advaita, it's missing the point. It is trying to explain away phenomena rather than recognizing it for what it actually is, phenomena that is being experienced. And so it ends up actually denying the validity and beauty and significance of human life, which means they don't see human life. They see the illusion is not human life. The illusion is not this stuff. The illusion is projecting a self onto everything, right? So I like to point out that, you're thirsty as hell walking through the desert, you're sweating, you're afraid of dying, there's Gila monsters and stuff around you, there's buzzards going overhead. The heat is hot, it's raising, and off in the distance you see the oasis, right? It's a mirage, it's not there. The desert is there. There's no mirage. That kind of approach to non-duality would spend a lot of time trying to prove that the desert doesn't exist. Right? Well, it doesn't exist as an independent thing. It exists as the manifestation of the self. So it does exist and doesn't exist. It's both. It's very weird to try to think about it. But this is why with a lot of people who have come to me as a teacher, who have come out of that world of that non-dual approach, most of them have required a bit, if not a lot, of some emotional healing. Because it can be very enticing as a way of suppressing human feelings, your own experience, wounds, traumas, all of that stuff. And you can't make an end run around karma. You can't do it. You can eventually learn that you're not that, but that doesn't mean this stops or suddenly vanishes. It means that you no longer have an illusion about it. You're no longer chasing the mirage. You're just in the desert sweating. But even that desert is part of the overall reality. It is the self experiencing the self. And so you see, if you just stay in touch with your humanness, let yourself feel the pain, lack, grief, as well as joy and connection. There's no danger of you slipping into nihilism. There's no danger of you becoming too intellectual. And there's been a couple of times when people have come into like this self-inquiry sangha, and very intellectual, asking very intellectual questions, and talking about things from a very conceptual framework, and they left. They left because that's not the real thing. That is the mind trying to pretend that it understands. And it tends to facilitate a certain kind of arrogance that that eventually will betray itself. And as Papaji would say, truth cannot come to an arrogant mind. Buddha was accused of nihilism because of this teaching of no self, because it was completely misunderstood. He wasn't talking about no existence. He was talking about no self in the thing, that the self is not in the body. The self is projecting itself as the body. And then the false sense, the sense that we need, that we are now all coming back out of, is the projection of myself as the body. The body's okay. There's nothing wrong with the body. Human life's innocent. Enjoy the body. Watch it come and watch it go. And enjoy all the dance in between. You can actually experience human life just as a wonderful experience. And it's not nihilistic at all. And you'll feel compassion towards those that are suffering. Yeah. So, I hope that answers it for you. But you said later, well, you pretty much answered it now. Being part of a group definitely helps. It surely does. You need to be. That's why there are sanghas. We need to be. This idea that you can just do it all yourself is just nonsense. It's just another way the mind tries to hide from itself and pretend it is something when in fact it's not. It's nothing. Useful when you own it, when you understand what it is, and give it the jobs it can actually do. But it's a great servant. It's a horrible master. So, Black Lion Abs, John and I have been friends for what, 30 years now? Almost 30 years? Yeah. Wow. So good to see you, my friend. Barb, thank you, G. Just the fact that communications and expressions are flowing means I am the source. And whatever experience done and thought just happens without the need for explanation. Yes. And without needing to have a concrete picture of what you, the source, are. What the hell? What are you? I have no idea. Nisargadatta was asked that. He said, no one in particular. On Nisargadatta's webpage, many years ago when I looked at it, one of the items in the menu is his biography, his life story. And you click on it, you go to that page, and all it says is, I was never born. Pretty clever. Yes, there's no need to explain. Getting to that point is really quite a spiritually mature place. So, even though you're new at this, Barb, I suspect this is not your first go-round with this kind of thing. Fatima, thank you very much. Yes, that's how it feels like sometimes. Shapeless feeling of being without a person. Great, just be with it. It will unfold itself to you. Just be. Just be. It's like, how do I just be? It's not a doing. You just be. Just notice that the beingness is here. I am. Oh, I am. I didn't have to do it. Right? What we do have to do, the effort where the effort has to be applied, is letting our attention settle every now and then, as often as possible, but not a huge amount of time, settling into just the sense I am, just the fact of my being. And then just practice not attaching it to anything, not trying to define it in any way, but just the sense itself, I am, okay? Which is just here. You didn't make it be here. You don't have to do it. Being is not a verb. to be should not be a verb. It's not a noun and it's not a verb. Not really. Because verbs are action words, doing something. But being, you don't do being. You don't doobie-doobie, right? You just are. And let yourself, every now and then, during the day, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, just be. Just be. You find it kind of difficult at first because our attention is used to it. But just taking attention, going back, just notice. It's just a fact. Well, what am I looking for? Well, nothing. You just, do you exist? Are you? Yes, I am. Okay, just that for a minute. Just be. Oh, I am. Yeah, it's just a fact. But what about, no, that's good, that later, thank you. I'll get back to you later, but just be. Because that's it. That being, that beingness. It cannot be defined, it can't be pictured. You just know that's the self. That's the source. That's where it's all coming from. Since it's all coming from that, I mean everything, the whole universe, all of it, it's kind of worth spending some time with. To just be. The sense I am. That was all Nisargadatta did. Before he was Nisargadatta, that's all he did. Just be with the sense I am. That's all he did. That was his whole practice. Because that's what his teacher told him to do. He said, I believed him, I trusted him, I did it, and it worked. So, nay, when we believe that the planet and the beings within it should be treated with love and care, shouldn't be harmed, how can we allow ourselves to witness it and not engage with the feelings, thoughts of injustice when it comes up? Or sense the sense of I gets so frustrated and upset when I witness suffering, harm, and feel powerless when I can't change it. There's judgment, criticism of harm being wrong and just. Just set aside that sense of I or sense of I. Don't. Let's not try to intellectually complicate it. Right? You are there, obviously. I. Whatever that is I. Right? And you are experiencing, and you are witnessing honest to God mistreatment. Look around the world. Greed, barbarity, manipulation, out and out lies, just broadcast broadly, broken relationships, cruelty of just imaginable proportions. Not just to each other, humans, but we do to animals, and what we're doing to the entire planet. All out of, yes, you should notice it. You should feel the utter injustice of it. You should feel the moral indignation, repulsion of it, because it is morally reprehensible. The way the world is operating, the people in it are operating, is morally bankrupt. It's not even human. I'm not going to even call it animal. That's giving it too much credit. That's an insult to animals. This is the ego at its worst. Just greed that knows no limit. It won't stop till it has it, absolutely all of it. Cruelty that is completely indifferent to the happiness, even the survival of anyone other than itself and its tiny little group. Right. So now, what do I do? Right. First off, yes, that's here. That is the experience I'm having right now. Right. It's there. You are witnessing it, aren't you? So you don't have to allow yourself to witness it, because you already are. You have to recognize that you are. And yes, accept that you are. That doesn't mean you have to accept it as legitimate, because it's not. It's morally repugnant in all ways. It's blind as a bat. It is what happens when unconsciousness is given free rein, when the ego loses all of its constraints. This is what happens. The hungry ghost gets nuclear weapons. And you, the sense of I, now I'm going to use that phrase. First, the I that is witnessing it all. But that is also witnessing the sense of frustration, isn't it? The sense of upset. Is witnessing the moral indignation, which is the proper response to it. And we can add a lot to it, the Christian nationalism and the like that's justifying it rather than condemning it, which it should do. Which is what Christ actually did. But what's there now, what's you're also witnessing, is the powerlessness of the person to do anything about it, which is also true. Yeah. As a person, useless. Not to mention, we are in the crowd of the expendable. We're not important. We don't matter. Our happiness, our health, our well-being, our very lives are absolutely insignificant to the ego. All of this you are witnessing, aren't you? The sense that I should do something about it is also being witnessed. So you see it all. There is in you a light that recognizes the difference between greed and generosity, between cruelty and gentleness, between exploitation and inclusion. What is it that recognizes that can discern that and know that it's wrong? What is it that recognizes that this human person doesn't have any power to make it any different? What is it that can even go further and recognize that the conditioning that has made the experience of your life the way it is it's the same unconsciousness that manifests as someone who gets into a position of power in the world and manipulates it for its own purposes. Same conditioning. The difference, that one's not conscious of it yet. They still believe that conditioning is themselves, and they're winning, and you're conscious. You're aware of it. And that awareness brings with it a sense of the powerlessness of the ego, right? Which is why they're so greedy, because if they felt a sense of power, they wouldn't be grabbing so much. Wouldn't be building weapons of just enormous evil. For what? To protect the ego, because it's inherently unstable, unhappy, afraid, lacking. Strip them of the power, and what you have left is just crying little boy, basically. His daddy didn't love him. I mean, that's all it is when we bring that kind of consciousness to it. And that sense of our own personal powerlessness should turn us more towards the truth. To recognize the truth. That The ultimate destiny of humanity is not actually in our hands. Where this all goes, I don't know. I know that for every individual, every single individual that appears, the path of awakening is in operation. And all experiences are serving that. Right now, the experience of being powerless in the face of just unthinkable evil, selfishness, and cruelty, greed, is the experience that I'm having, you're all having. The experience of feeling like being the disempowered one in that relationship. To benefit from that is the willingness to step back and see it as the experience of being in the weak position, which requires there to be the experience of something in the power position, and all of it is being seen by you. And should the earth, humans completely destroy all life on earth, including ourselves, weird as this may sound, this will simply be another experience that you have because you can't die. And I don't believe it's going to come to that. I believe that there's some magic things in store for us all. I think there's something afoot here that we're going to experience. I might not. I don't know when it's coming, but many of you will. Experience it in advance, just envision. But remember, it's all serving the purpose of awakening. And be with the powerlessness. Right? If there's something you can do, do it. There's a big protest rally. It's going to here in Seattle. I'm going to go. I'm going to go and see it, because while it's still on a relatively primary level, these things represent a level of consciousness, that there is within human consciousness a trustworthy moral compass. That's here too. It doesn't own the networks, it doesn't own media and the like. It's not out for profit, but it's here too. And that's just using this as an opportunity to recognize that it's there, not to try to fix it or do or and the like, except in the ways that are so obvious. You just do it, and then you step back and be the loving witness of it, completely open and deepen understanding. The evildoers are unconscious. It's Christ on the cross. Father, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. They're unconscious. They're asleep. That word forgiveness really meaning find them not guilty. Find their innocence. You, Nay, have definitely heard me use the term original innocence, and you will hear it more as you go through the levels of the tapping immersions. And it's the foundation of the spiritual. It was the linchpin that set me on this path, that recognition of original innocence, and it's in everybody. It's there. I don't care how grotesque they are, how degenerate, how just narcissistic they are. That original innocence is there, completely buried. It's just a flicker of a light at this point, but it is there. And eventually, truth has to win because truth is self-sustained. And truth and love and wisdom, they're all the same. Truth does not require a believer in order to be true. A belief requires a believer, which means it is unstable and what's the word I'm looking for? Unstable and nervous, I guess, inherently. It's always on the verge of losing that power, because it doesn't have any inherently. It requires the believer. That's why so much is spent on trying to convince people of things that simply aren't true. And people fall for it. There's nothing you can do about that. But don't you fall for it. The way you find that the love, even for them, the ones who are just kind of driving the bus we're all in, the handbasket to hell, the bus to hell, are innocent. That's how you find the love for it. And love them even while they're crucifying you. Because he knew their innocence. And then what happened? The last analysis, just such beautiful, said, "It is finished. Father, into thy hands I commit my spirit." And just let go. It's in God's hands. This is God's story. So, I'll leave it at that. Thank you for that question, May. Wow, beautiful. Beautiful. Dinesh, is everything predetermined? Is there any free will? Well, I do get that question a lot. And the answer is yes and no, as always. There is the experience of free will. Let me see if I can put this in a nutshell, because I don't want to, I don't want to get a lot, it goes so far in so many different ways. But when you are identified with your conditioning, there's no free will. A dog does not have free will. It cannot decide that it wants to do something. It's just obeying its instincts and the way it was trained. It doesn't have a preference. It doesn't. I like to fetch the ball, or I don't like it. I like to roll over. I don't. I don't feel like rolling over today. It's pure training. So there's no free will there. In the beginning, as we ourselves, the human system is developing and growing, there's no free will. Children don't have free will in that sense. And until there's some degree of consciousness that begins to recognize that I am not my conditioning, you are acting completely from the point of view of conditioning. Everything you do, the job you do, the friends you have, the clothes you wear, everything is a matter of conditioning. And shining through the conditioning are little bits and pieces of things that you actually really care about and love and want. But there may be no ability for you to even get to them. They'll be suppressed in the like. But even then, as we become distance from the conditioning, there's the experience that is had that, oh, I am now able to choose. I can say, I like that. I don't like that. I want that. I don't want that. Of course, the same thing is happening when you're in conditioning. But now you're beginning to become aware that these choices you make are much closer to what feels more real to you, not conditioning. And so there's the feeling of having choice. And I'll use that term because at this state, especially on a path where there's emotional healing, you get to the point where there is choice. You're not just having to react the way the system is, or the way an animal would have to its own. There's consciousness there that can say, oh, no, that's just an old habit. I don't want to do that. I want to go this way. So the experience is there's free will. But what's really happening? What's really happening is that there's more of awareness of who you actually are. And so the choices are coming from a different place. The real you is asserting itself now. It feels like a choice. But what's guiding the choice? What's guiding the choice is a sense of something being more true. And if you just extrapolate a bit, you find you get to the point where, knowing the truth, you wouldn't choose anything else. So you again could say, well, no, I don't really have a choice. It's the truth. What am I going to do? Right? What am I going to do? Choose the lie? I'm going to choose suffering over bliss? Is that a choice? No, not really. You see, the experience is there of free will. And of course that's part of the human experience. And most of it doesn't matter. It's whether you call it free will or not. I mean, it's getting on dinner time. Hey, honey, what do you want to have for tonight? I don't know. I kind of feel like pad thai or something. Some Thai food. Oh, yeah, okay. Was that a choice? Yeah, in one sense. But there was also something in saying, what do I have a taste for? You're consulting with something inside to go, what do I have a taste for? You're even asking the question. I mean, who are you talking to, right? you're talking to yourself. What is it I'm wanting right now? And that makes the choice. And then, of course, you can feel a little bit frustrated when, your husband or wife says, not again, I don't want that. How about pizza? Oh, God, I don't want pizza. Just look, I'm trying to lose weight. And now it's like, there's simply another little negotiation. Do I kind of lobby for what I want, or do I concede to my beloved, right? Because that's what he or she wants, right? And you can see there's this dance of love, there's this dance of negotiation, but we can call it choice, but you can see that there's much more depth to it than that. There's really something much more magical going on. So I'm going to leave it with that because I don't want to belabor that. So is that helpful, Dinesh? Yeah. But again, don't make it. I never want these things to be intellectual. Oh, I've got the answer now. There's free. I want you to always look for yourself. I encourage you to look and see. Is there like this total choice going on here? Say, no, are there just kind of these different kinds of energies, motivations, and movements in me? And somewhere along the line, I settle on one and head a direction, and actually look at the whole process as you are experiencing it. Because when we use a word like free will or choice, it's conceptual. We have an idea of what that is, and we then kind of project that on to what we're experiencing, and then interpret the experience from that concept. Set the concept aside, because the concept came after the experience. You don't have a concept that's self-existent. It's always a concept of something. So you go back to what was the actual experience and set the idea of free will, or choice, aside, and just go, what am I actually experiencing? What's all the things that are going on here that for some reason I just kind of go that way. The sense just kind of goes that way. And then you'll realize that there's a flow of life, that there's a free will, but there isn't free will. It's kind of there, it's kind of not. There's this movement. I'm participating in it, but it's also just kind of happening. And the beauty and complexity and the intricacy and the sweetness of this movement called life just becomes more and more apparent. And then the that trying to define something very specifically as free will becomes unimportant. It's just kind of part of the mix. So yeah, I need to get that last part in. I am you. Amazing. Helps a lot, dearest G. Thank you. Yeah, you're very welcome. Salvador, thank you, G. Yes, I want to embrace my humanness. And the emotional healing is helping with that for sure. Yes, we have to do that. Yeah. I said, there's no get out of karma free card. There's a point at which we're just so letting life be. We're loving ourselves. We're loving life. There's a certain equanimity that's there, where it's okay that things are the way they are in all the extremes. In which case, the karmic destiny, the stuff that's going to happen in your life, is no longer, I got to get out of this. I don't want no more karma. Let me get out. I want to ascend. I want to go to nirvana. It doesn't matter. You're already there. You just watch it unfold. Matter of fact, Ramana put it so beautifully. He said that at that point, where the disidentification isn't there, it's like, he says, God fulfills the karma for you, but it must be fulfilled. This is what the Advaitists refuse to accept. No, it must be fulfilled. It absolutely has to be. Even Christ said, John the Baptist, right? John the Baptist said, well, I should be baptized of you. Christ said, no. It all must be fulfilled. Right? Suffer it to be so now, John. Thus it fulfilleth us to fulfill all righteousness. It's all got to be fulfilled. Everything destined to happen in this life is going to happen. But with the awakening, it is no longer suffering. It's just what's happening. As Nisargadatta put it so beautifully, he said, I leave my human life to fulfill its destiny. I remain as I am. Yeah. So yes, emotional healing is absolutely essential. Yeah. Which is why I do it. Patricia! Oh, my dear, it's so good to see you. It's been a while. Yeah. Miss Nay, all experiences have value. They surely do. All experiences have a necessity. As Anthony DeMello put it so beautifully, he said, enlightenment is total surrender to the inevitable. Ah, what a perfect way to put it. Jonas, my man, I've reached out to you a couple of times. Anyway, let's see. Black Lion asks, John, mutable. What? I have no idea what you're saying there, my friend. Good to see you again. What do you mean by mutable? Marty, I was wondering if I should go to protest here in Vancouver next Saturday. Yes, of course. If there's an impulse to do it, do it. Absolutely. Traditionally, you know what? I think there's more questions coming, and I'm wanting to answer them, but I need to take a break. This happens every now and then when I have like gallons of water and latte. Just take a break. I'll be right back. So then I can answer. Total focus. Alrighty, I'm back. It's kind of weird having to get to that age where you have to kind of announce to your live stream community that, sorry, I can't last that long. Anyway. Ava, what's going on? G is up. Pay attention. See, you're not listening to me. You're not listening to me. Anyway, okay. One of the key jobs, key roles of genuine religion is to speak truth to power. That's always been one of its roles, and still is. You know, when King David from the Old Testament, another figure who didn't really exist, an ideal king like King Arthur or something like that, but he, he basically raped a woman who was married. And then, he's king though, right? He's king. And then he had her husband sent out into the middle of some war or conflict that was going on, so he'd get killed, right? And the whole society, all the stuff was going on. There was problems with the crops. There's all these problems that started appearing. And over time, and finally, a prophet, known to be a prophet, I can't remember which one it was now. Nehemiah, something like that? No. Anyway, shows up, right? Well, he's a prophet, so he's welcome in. He gets an audience with the king, and he says to him, "Well, there's all these things going on. You know what?" And the prophet says, "I know who the problem is." And David says, "Well, tell me who it is, and we'll deal with it." And I said, "It's you. You're the problem." The guards wanted to set upon him, but David confessed. He admitted it was him. That's what power is supposed to do: submit to truth, right? Not for the other way around. Religion becomes a tool of power, which is what it has become now. So yes, use your right to protest. Yeah, show that there is and are conscious individuals who do not agree with it, who do not think it's okay, who do not think this is the way we should be. I won't get into any specifics. Everybody's got their idea of what should be, but if there are protests going on, then by all means participate. Marty, I think you're in Vancouver, Washington, right? Maybe it's even the same group that's putting it on up here. Because all this stuff is going on with absolutely no compassion, no heart, no thought whatsoever about all of the billions of people that are being affected by it. So yeah, be out there. I'll be there. I've participated before, because it's worth it. It's worth it. It's part of Sangha. It's about speaking truth to power. Right? Whereas power wants to commandeer truth for its purposes. That's the Christian nationalists, which are not Christian, nothing to do with Christianity. They don't love Christ, they love power. It's all about power, taking on a religious identity that is associated with a book that has great authority, completely distorting the meaning of the book to give themselves that absolute authority so that they can grab power and control of resources. And they are now promoting themselves as if they were the representation of truth. And they're not. They're liars. Or delusional. One of the two. I'm not really sure which. I think a lot of them are just con men in it for the money. Some are just really into power, and were. But without them, what's happening, especially here in the U.S., would not be happening. And they're facilitating and getting millions of actual Christians to go along with them, which was, said in the Bible, that it'll appear in such a form to deceive even the elect. Yeah. Spiritual wickedness in high places. So yes, if the opportunity's there, by all means, yeah. State your place. I think it's a great thing to do. So thanks, Marty. Lindsay, much gratitude to Ida. Thank you, GP. Black Lion Apps. Belief is mutable, truth is not. Yeah, exactly so. Belief is manipulatable, isn't it? It's what we are experiencing right now is a fight for who's going to have the dominant story, because all of this stuff is about the story. Yeah, because none of it's real, none of it's the truth. If you're here with me on this path, we're here for the truth. I don't want another story. Thank you very much. They all wear out. We want the truth. Jonas, yes, I've written to you on Messenger and Telegram back about 3. I had a personal thing that's been very, very challenging, especially last week, so I want to talk to you about it for weeks. Really? Oh, what's up with that? All right, let's... can you book a time with me? With the link? If not, I'll get on now. We'll see what we can do. Lindsay, is GP on Telegram? How do we join? Is this a subscriber group? I am personally on Telegram. I can't personally handle everything that comes in. I have the Self-Inquiry Sangha, which is where I meet with people privately, not one-on-one, but in a group, which is actually better. I prefer the groups get further on Zoom. Yes, there is a small subscription. It's $47 a month, and we like this only on Zoom, where we can talk and I can interact every Wednesday, sometimes going on for a very long time. Yeah, so it's $47 for that a month. Helps me keep the lights on. There's also, if you join one of my EFT classes, I have another group for the emotional healing side. A lot of people in both. For EFT, level 1, level 2, or level 3. Obviously, brand new being level 1. And so, yeah, there's that. It's also very reasonably priced. It's like a multi-week thing. It's an immersion into emotional healing. So I focused it enough so that there's a focus on emotional healing and a focus on non-dual self-inquiry, and it's kind of the bridge that I'm building in between the two, because I saw such a huge need for it. So if you want to just email me. Do I have an email here that you can... Right? I don't right now. Let's see, what should I do here? Create a banner. Let me just put something here. HTTP. Okay. GP. Send it to tapping@omschool.co. Yeah. Send it there. Show. There. Send me an email. We can get on for free. I do a free consultation to help folks to see, because I have a lot of people, different countries, different places, different economic situations, that have a hard time with it. If you join one of the EFT groups, I get you into the other one, especially in the beginning. It's just kind of part of it. If you're interested, not everybody is, get access to the WhatsApp group. Very active, very supportive. That's for the EFT. And I have that on WhatsApp because I've got people in there who live in countries where Telegram is not allowed. So WhatsApp has the least number of countries that don't allow it, and I don't have any students there. So it works out. The Telegram is the non-dual self-inquiry, but you can have access to both if you join the EFT classes, which I really encourage people to do because it's just part of the deal. Every now and then somebody pops up that I think doesn't need that much emotional healing, so put them right in. But send me an email there. Oh, it's got wrong. I got it wrong. Sorry. Hold on. I got to fix it. Hold on. Edit. Where are you? Edit. Oh, damn it. C-O, not C-A. I do that all the time. Save and show. C-O. Damn. I do that all the time. And it's free. We can just sit and talk about it. Try to, if it's a financial thing, I usually find a way to work it out. I'm not in this for the money. I get by. So please, any of you would like to, and send me an email, even if you're just interested in the self-inquiry Sangha or any of the things that I might have in addition, or private sessions, which I do, although I really encourage the group because everybody benefits so much from it. And there's plenty of people who are in both, plenty of people here who are part of that. We can tell you whether it's any good or not. So, Jonas, finally live on Sunday again. This is my favorite Sunday activity. Listen and watch so many times. Yes, you have, Jonas. Hope to get back in that again. Always feels, yes. Lindsay, Telegram, WhatsApp, courses, and people take part in EFTs. I can highly recommend both. Best thing online for me. Thank you. See? There you go. Social proof. Isn't that what they call it in marketing terms? Yeah. Is Jonas, is the live stream still on? It was me. I guess people didn't hear me because I'm getting old. The bladder doesn't hold as much. And sometimes, but if I'm like I went to the gym this morning and I drink a lot of water, I'm at the gym and I had a couple of lattes, and so I didn't want to cut things short out of discomfort. So I kind of felt that there was more to come. So I took a little break. Let's see. Roberto! Welcome, my friend. Yeah, the whole time change things. Yep, the whole time change things. Yay, you're back. Jose Turla. Lots of hearts. Thank you, Jose. So, I'm just seeing getting to the questions of people that I wasn't there. So if there are any more questions, I'm open to it about anything, including the Sangha and the self-inquiry Sangha and the emotional healing immersion, because that's what it is. But I use the modality of EFT. It's a great way to build a bridge between those two worlds, which is, I kind of feel my calling in this life. Any more questions? No? No? Going once? Going twice? All right. This says thank you. Thank you from David. Thank you, guys. Thank you all so much. I can't be a teacher if there's nobody to teach, so thank you for making me a teacher. And giving me an opportunity to speak endlessly about what I love most. And that is simply this beautiful and gentle and simple path out of suffering and into who you really are, which is where there is no suffering. Yeah. All right, my friends. So good to see you all. Love you all. Namaste. Yeah.